today we are going to make a paper plate poinsettia. So for this project, you are going to need 1, 2, 3 paper plates. I have small paper plates. You can use big paper plates too. Your flower would just be bigger. So 3 paper plates and these little, really thin ones work best. You'll also need a glue stick or glue of some kind. You could also use tape if you didn't have that. Scissors and markers. All right, let's get started. So a poinsettia is a flower. It's a red flower and it is often seen at the holiday time, and it has 5 points on it, 5 different petals. And they're red, and sometimes they're different shades, but generally when you see them, they're red, and they come from Mexico. And National Poinsettia Day is actually even December 12th. So it is often called the Christmas star or the Christmas flower. And today we're going to make a flower like that out of paper plates. So I'm going to start with my 3 plates, and we need to draw 5 petals on each one. So I'm going to do that with my black marker, but you could do it with a pencil to start if you wanted. So the first thing you need to do is draw a little circle in the middle. I'm going to use my glue stick for that as a tracer. But if you don't have a glue stick, you could use a quarter, even a nickel. That's kind of a small round object you could use. So I'm just gonna do that like that. And then I'll do that on the other 2 as well. All right. In Mexico and other Latin American countries, many people celebrate Las Posadas. And that happens from December 16th until December, did I say September or December? I meant to say December, if I didn't say that. December 16th through December 24th. And it celebrates the journey that Mary and Joseph took to Bethlehem for the baby Jesus to be born. So that's what they celebrate. And many times these flowers are seen during that time. All right, let's get the petals on now. So now off of that, I'm going to make 5 petals. So I'm going to go like a curved line like that, and then a curved line like that. And I want it to be pointed, not rounded at the end, because these flowers are called stars often just because they do have pointy petals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I will do that again, the same exact thing on all 3 plates. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And one last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now these are going to be layered on top of each other. So this is actually going to be almost like a 3D flower. Okay, now I'm going to take my scissors and very carefully I'm going to cut my flowers out. So just like that, I'm going to cut these little triangles out. And if you want to shape it a little better when you're cutting, you can. Like maybe you want to make it a little pointier. That would be the time to do it. So I am going to work right now on cutting all of my flowers out. Okay, I have my 3 flowers cut out now. And what is really cool about these is because we made the petals all the way to the end, which you should do, all the way to the end of the paper plate. They already kind of curl up. See how the petal kind of curls up like that? So it makes it look a little more realistic. Now, when you look at your flowers, you might decide one of your flowers looks better than the others. Well, we're going to be layering these on top of each other. So whichever one you think is going to be the best flower, I would pick that one as your top flower. I think I'm going to pick, I'm going to pick this one. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to color them. Now, there's going to be 2 that are going to be flowers, and one of them is actually going to be the leaves. So, the bottom one is going to be the leaves. And I'm going to do my flower first. So I'm going to take my red and I'm going to color the leaves, but I'm going to do kind of stripey like that. I'm going to go back over it in pink. And you don't have to do that. Or if you don't have a pink marker, you could use crayons. Sometimes I use a highlighter if I don't have that color. I'll just use a pink highlighter. Or you can just color them all red if you want. Or you could even go in there with orange instead. I just like 2 colors in it to make it, give it some depth. That's how real flowers are, right? They're not like usually one flat color. There's different shades in there. Maybe the light's hitting it or something. Okay, so there we go. And now I'm gonna go back over this with my pink. And I'm gonna get all of those white spaces filled in. All right. And then I'm gonna do the exact same thing with my second flower. So I'm gonna keep working on this with this flower and the second flower, and then I'll save my 3rd one for the leaves, and I'll show you how we're gonna do that. Okay, I got my 2 flower petal groups done here. So I'm gonna put those off to the side. And I'm gonna grab my last one, which is gonna be my leaves. So I'm gonna grab green. I had 2 different shades of green because I like to make it have some depth and dimension, that's called. But you could just use 1 green. I'm gonna do the same thing, but this time I'm gonna do it with green. And if you don't have a lighter green marker, you could use a lighter green crayon. You could use a highlighter, like I said. A lot of times there's green highlighters. Or just use just green. That's fine too. Make sure, sometimes it's tricky when you get to the end because the plate has little grooves in it, and it is easy to just not really get in there with your marker. So make sure you still get all those little crevices and cracks in your plate. All right, same thing I did with my petals. I'm gonna go over it now with my green. And this is a different color green, and it's kind of wearing out. It kind of gives it a different look since it's wearing out. See, like down there on this edge here, it's kind of tricky to get in there, so I just still get in there. If I go over the middle a little, that's fine, because that's going to get covered up. So I'm just going to keep on keeping on. With my drying out marker. Sometimes dried out markers give you a different effect, right? It's like a lighter. That's just not quite as dark, which is actually kind of what I want. So it works but then after I'm done with this project, I might have to throw this marker away. Okay, now, once you're done coloring all three, we're gonna layer them on top of each other to make them 3D. But actually, before we do that, we have one more step, I forgot. Okay, there's my leaves. I'll put that off to the side. Pick the one that's gonna be the top flower. All right, so I think I said this one was gonna be my top one. I need to do the middle of this one. So I'm gonna grab yellow and orange. I'm gonna start with yellow, and I'm just gonna make a bunch of little circles to fill that up. We're gonna fill the whole thing, but instead of just coloring it, we're gonna make circles. And then I'm gonna take orange. I have a couple white spaces left here. I don't know if you can kind of see that, see? I'm gonna fill all that in with my orange. I don't want lots of orange, but enough that it kind of, you can see that there's circles like that. And if you have any more, you can even go back with your yellow and just fill in. And they kind of bleed together, which is kind of cool. Run into each other like that. Okay, there we go. See that? These two, I don't need to do the middle because we're gonna be just covering that right up. So I'm gonna start on the lowest, the bottom level. I'm gonna grab my glue. And again, if you have tape, you could just put a little roll of tape in there, or you could, if you have glue bottle, just put a couple drops of glue. But I have a glue stick, so I'm gonna put some glue right in that circle. And then I'm gonna take my flower petal that I did not color the middle in and put it on top. Now, when you put it on top, you need to rotate it so that you can still see the leaves behind it. If I put it right on top of it, then I can't see the leaves. So I have to twist it a little bit so that the leaves fall, show through. Press it down. See? Now you can see that. Now I'm gonna put a little bit more glue right in the middle again. And grab my top one that I colored. And again, I'm gonna twist it. Now this time it might go over the leaves a little bit, but since it's curved up, like the ends are curved up, you can still see. So I'm just gonna twist it a little bit and put it on top and push it down. Okay, and then we have one last step, which is I'm gonna grab my black marker again, and I'm gonna draw some lines in my petals. So right from the middle, I'm gonna draw a line out. And I would even do this on the underneath ones. So I just kind of pull that up and do the underneath ones. You could do this before you glue it too, I suppose. I mean, and even the leaves. So I'm gonna do that. And then, whoop, I got them all. Oh, a couple more leaves here. Then, off of those lines, I'm just gonna make some diagonal lines like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna, almost like a V shape, but sometimes I don't have them match up. Sometimes I have them, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Like sometimes they match up like this one, and then sometimes they're like not right next to each other. I kind of just mix it up so that they're all different. Okay, and then you can do the same thing with the ones underneath, and even the leaves, you can do the same. All right, and that just gives it a little extra detail. And that is going to be our last step. So we have our flower for Las Posadas, our poinsettia. Awesome. Okay, I'm finished. There it is. It's 3D. It's all kind of curved up. You can kind of curl the edges a little bit if you want, like especially in the top layers, so that it sits up a little more. And there's your finished flower. So when you are finished with your poinsettia, you can post it to Seesaw so that I can see it. I can't wait to see. Have fun.